Now it's time to move over to the Baltimore Ravens. This is one, Munaf, again, where this is sort of the now we're just kind of splitting hairs because we obviously know Derrick Henry is going to be in charge of that backfield. No one will ever unseat Lamar Jackson until Lamar Jackson retires. Cooper Rush is not a threat there in the backfield. We could talk about the tight end position here, where it's Mark Andrews versus Isaiah Likely. But as you dig into the stats, it's always going to be Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely is going to be a thorn in the side, and he may steal some fantasy production here and there, but he's never going to be somebody that you feel comfortable drafting. As I've learned over the last couple of seasons, stay away from Isaiah Likely unless you want heartbreak. So the elephant in the room now, as we talked about it in Cleveland, but the elephant in the room for Baltimore is DeAndre Hopkins showing up from Kansas City. We saw him last season be a spot player for KC and come up clutch in some capacities. But the question is, can he rise back to the level that he once was when he was with the Cardinals? And what does this do to Zay Flowers in his draftability? And what are we doing with either one of these? Because we know how good both are, but
Yep.
can it be sustainable in a triple option offense that is Baltimore Ravens?
So going back to your point about the tight end, Isaiah Likely, he's going to miss, I think, 6 weeks with the with a foot injury that he sustained and had to get surgery on, and a broken bone in his foot, I should say, to be exact, here during Tuesday's practice. So he's expected to face a 6 week recovery and then ramp up. So more than likely going to miss, I would say, at minimum the first 2 weeks right of the regular season. So that could have been a conversation piece, but it seems like Mark Andrews are going to be on a redemption tour after dropping that 2 point conversion that could have sealed the ticket for the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm not trying to bring up wounds if you are a Ravens fan, but it's a new season. So DeAndre Hopkins, 33 years old. And again, I'm very familiar with Hopkins being a Texans fan because he started his career or started his career at a very young age with the Houston Texans, and it was an absolute monster. A guy that went through a lot of different quarterbacks being with the Texans. There was that first season with the Arizona Cardinals, and I ask for forgiveness because I'm in baseball mode, so I may just say a baseball team's name when I'm saying some of these cities there. I almost said Arizona Diamondbacks there, but 1,400 yard season. And look, that 2023 season with the Tennessee Titans, he had 1,000 yard season there. When I've watched Hopkins over the past couple of seasons here, Rod, and more in particular last 2 years, it seems like the speed has slowed down a little bit for him. And yes, of course, that's going to happen as you get older. He's still 33 years old, if I'm not mistaken, but I think he still has some of the best hands in the NFL. And I know the numbers aren't projecting that last season where he had 59 targets, but only 41 receptions. When he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he also came in after trade deadline last year, right? I was a huge fan and still am a huge fan of Zay Flowers. And I think that he's still going to be the number one guy for this Baltimore Ravens offense with Lamar Jackson as a quarterback there. So again, if you're asking me who would I rather have, is it a 24-year-old Zay Flowers who had a really good season last year with 1,000 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. He had 116 targets, and I'm sure you have the target numbers in front of you there, Rod, from last season. But this could be an opportunity. Like, look, if DeAndre Hopkins can get back to the form that he was in with the Texans in that 1 year with the Tennessee Titans where he had 1,000+ yard season, this is going to be a huge addition for this Baltimore Ravens offense. So I know a lot of it's going to be on Derrick Henry just because he's an absolute monster in a league of his own. But I think there may be a little bit of a less reliance on Derrick Henry this season because he ran the ball 325 times. That's just in the regular season last year, Rod. He did have 16 touchdowns. So maybe pull the curtain back there a little bit, or, I don't want to say pump the brakes on Derrick Henry because he's a freak of a nature. But I think DeAndre Hopkins is fully capable, but I do think I would still prefer Zay Flowers over DeAndre Hopkins.